явися нам, благословен гряды во имя Господне.
Камни Божий, не пригоши, держащийся, и быси благого глав Господа быси, и сделай в сердцах наших.
Господи, явися нам, благословен гряды во имя Господне. Правильный образ кротости, воздержание учителя, явите стаду Твоему, верность завещание истина, всего ради сожалости смирения высокая, нищетою богатая, очи священномучениче Николае, моли Христа Бога, спастися душам нашим.
Богом премудросвольным прокемим, святитель очи Николы, моли Бога о нас.
Святитель очи Николае, моли Бога о нас.
Слава Отцу и Сыну и Святому Духу,
И ныне и присно, и во веки веков.
святитель очи Николы, моли Бога о нас.
Святитель очи Николае, моли Бога о нас.
Слава Отцу и Сыну и Святому Духу,
И ныне и присно, и во веки веков. Аминь. Моли Бога о нас, святитель очи Николае, яко мы усердно Тебе прибегаем, скорому помощнику и молитвеннику о душах наших.
святитель очи Николы, моли Бога о нас.
Святитель очи Николае, моли Бога о нас.
Слава Отцу и Сыну и Святому Духу,
И
because, as you know, in the year 313, the Edict of Milan was issued that granted freedom of worship for all religions. And following that, of course, Empress Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine the Great, she arrived here, she found the Holy Cross, and she started the construction of churches and her work here. One of the things that's believed to be done by her orders is the mosaics that you see on the floor of the cave, which was done to mark the cave of St. Nicholas. And of course, you would understand, mosaics were not for caves because it's a luxury. However, because of the importance of the cave, since St. Nicholas was known throughout his life and shortly after he reposed, his cave became a pilgrimage site. From the 6th century, we had a chapel here in the name of St. Nicholas. We don't know how many, however, the last one that stood here was demolished in 1920. It was in a bad state, they couldn't save it, and they saw that the congregation was growing here and they needed another church and a bigger church. So they got the permits. At the time it was the British mandate, and they demolished the church and they built the church that we're standing here today. St. Nicholas, of course, is considered the patron saint of the town here, and it will be people, how they call him, the father of the town, as the protecting father. His presence was strongly felt throughout history. Even from the spoken history, we understand one incident that happened probably in the Middle Ages, and you can see it in the icon down on the right, in the hanging icon here. The story says that when men would go to war, women and children will be left alone with no protection at that time. So the women will go to the cave of St. Nicholas to pray for protection. In this incident, what we heard is that one day there was a rain in the town, and the women were praying in the cave. And in the incident, as the rocks were rolling sort of down from the hill and crushing those rains. However, in the modern history, we can see down in the icon in the middle, 1967 we had a war there. And one day we had a heavy shelling on the town here, and by chance one priest from the Catholic monastery across the road from us here, you can see through the window, he looked through the window and he saw on top of the church here this huge figure of St. Nicholas on top of the church, opening his arms and collecting the shells and the rockets that were falling here. It happened in 2002. We had another war here, and one Sunday during the liturgy, heavy shelling started as well, and people were in the church here. The shelling was around this area here. So people, they remained in the church, they didn't leave. However, none of the shells or the bullets that fell or hit the church exploded or killed anybody. Not even the glass was broken. People, they finished the liturgy and they went home safely. Many, many stories that you would hear from normal people, of course, about their experiences with St. Nicholas. Of course, St. Nicholas, after he left from here, he was elected the Bishop of Myra and Nikias, and he continued his service there until he reposed in the Lord in the year 343. He was buried there. However, as you may know, in the year 1087, following the conquest of the Seljuk Turks to Asia Minor region, people from Bari in Italy and from Venice, they were sort of competing who would arrive first to take the remains of St. Nicholas in order to save it, so to say. So eventually the people from Bari, they arrived first and they dug up the remains of St. Nicholas, the main skeletal bones. And until this day they're present there. And every year around this time, the 9th of May I understand, they open the tomb where they keep the bones of St. Nicholas, and they find this liquid, this myrrh, or they call it the manna in Italian. Scientifically, they cannot give an answer where it comes from. However, spiritually, we believe, of course, it is blessing that exudes from the bones of St. Nicholas. In 1995, from the Bishop of Bari, a sample of this myrrh was sent to the town here, which is in the shrine you have visited there. Also, in the golden icon behind His Eminence, we have a very tiny piece of the bones of St. Nicholas in the golden icon. Other interesting stories where we felt the presence of St. Nicholas was in the old icon there in the corner. It's one of the old icons of the church from the previous chapel that stood here. One day they had to change the frame of the icon. So the carpenter and another man arrived here to fix the frame. Probably they came in the afternoon after the work. So they needed some extra light because some carvings in order to install the frame properly. So they installed a little light. They connected it with a socket on the right. They started working. It took them some more time, so it started getting dark. So one of the men told the other, go to turn some of the lights of the church so we get more light so we can work faster. When he went to the main panel to turn the lights on, he found out that there's no electricity in the church. He went out and he found out that there's no electricity in the whole town. All the town was without electricity apart from this light bulb that was lighting the icon. They finished their work, and as soon as they finished, the lights went out. The icon behind this pillar is an antique Russian icon. A pilgrim was visiting here around the year 2013, I'm not sure exactly. He saw this icon in a souvenir shop. He liked it and he wanted to purchase it to donate it to the church here. Many people donated icons. So you'd understand it's an antique icon, it's very expensive. He couldn't afford the price of it, and he couldn't negotiate a better price with the owner of the souvenir shop, and he left. The same night, the owner of the souvenir shop saw St. Nicholas in his dreams, and he was telling him to bring the icon to his home, to the church here. And indeed, the next day, the owner of the souvenir shop donated the icon, and he told us his story here. Similar story happened with the icon behind you there, the big icon. It came from Romania. A lady told us that she had a dream where she saw St. Nicholas. He was telling her, you've come to the Holy Land, you visited here many times, but you've never visited my home. She told him, where is your home? He told her, near Bethlehem. Indeed, she came for another pilgrimage here, and she came to the church. However, when she saw St. Nicholas in her dreams, and when she asked him, where is your home here? He showed her the cave, which you will see after. And indeed, when she arrived here, she saw the exact cave that she saw in her dreams. So she went back to Romania and she commissioned an icon for St. Nicholas from one of the monks. However, the monk, for some reason, ran into difficulty. He couldn't paint the icon, write the icon. So he went to his spiritual father. He told him, this is what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I cannot paint the icon. So he told him, fast and pray, and God will lead you. Indeed, after fasting and praying, St. Nicholas appeared to him and he told him, you can only paint my face with not very pleasant gestures, sort of angry. Told him why. Of course, that was because when St. Nicholas participated in the first ecumenical council, 325, when said that he slapped Arius when they were in the council. So that reflects the nature of St. Nicholas, of course, as a great defender of the faith. Of course, as long as other saints. So, and indeed, he managed to paint the icon in 2 days, and they brought the icon, and we have it here. If you'd like, after go down to the cave.
Yeah.
Thank you.